Good day. I'm Andrea Mitchell reporting live.
All right, Carrie, let me quickly bring in Ann Bremner and Meg Strickler. They're also at the scene, both high-profile criminal defense attorneys. Ann, I'll start off with you. We've talked a lot about this case. Let me first get your reaction to the jurors deliberating fewer than 11 hours in this case.
You know, I earlier predicted on the air I thought the verdict would be today. We knew that they were dressed up. I was just over at the courthouse kind of watching for them. I saw the pizza delivery man come at noon. Saw the lawyers coming out very tense from both sides. Judge Perry had gone down the street. But it's like this is a case where they've been together for so long. And actually the felony murder or the murder one is pretty simple. The verdict form's long, but simple whichever way they go. And a short verdict, some people say it's a guilty verdict when it's a short deliberation, but a lot of people say it could be not guilty. So everybody now, the world is watching and will know in 15 minutes.
Yeah, and let me bring in Meg in this conversation. To Ann's point, a lot of people have discussed the forms and the length of time it would take the jurors to get just through the paperwork and maybe if they have a follow-up question about evidence. But we did not, Meg, see any of that kind of activity. And yet we were all just getting the word maybe a half hour ago that there was a verdict in this case. What is your reaction to the brevity of time what we're looking at with the jurors deliberating?
I agree with Ann on everything she just said, because you never know. Again, I said yesterday that they were going to be dealing with just kind of organizing themselves yesterday, electing a four-person, getting the paperwork organized, and then today they were going to discuss it. So it sounds to me they jumped immediately to a conclusion. All 12 have agreed on something, but it can be a short verdict, an acquittal, it can be a short verdict, a death penalty. I mean, we don't know.
Yeah,
all we know is that they were quick to decide. Yes.
Yeah. And let me bring in our own Savannah Guthrie, who, of course, and a reminder, we're expecting to hear that verdict around 2:15, just a few minutes from now. But let me bring back Ann Bremner and Meg Strickler, both criminal defense attorneys. And, you know, let's talk a little bit about the defense strategy here. You know, introducing what some are calling the soap opera aspect of this, the molestation accusations against George Anthony, and then showing the photograph of Kaylee, you know, near the family's pool, there, you know, enjoying a day in the sun, but again, not closing the door or explaining this theory that this child drowned.
Well, absolutely. And the problem is, if you get up an opening statement as a lawyer, criminal defense lawyer, we know that you're making a promise to the jury that you're going to prove this, you're going to have evidence. The defense doesn't have a burden of proof, of course, but if they say they're going to put on evidence, they better have it. And they didn't. And it may well have backfired to use this kind of, you know, bombshell opening statement and bombshell theory of the case when they couldn't back it up. The whole question was, you know, did Casey Anthony want to testify or didn't she? The fact is she had to back up that defense, but of course she couldn't because of the web of lies. So what it left really was that real problem with Cindy Anthony at the end looking like she was trying to cover up for her in a really fabulous rebuttal.
And let me bring back Kerry Sanders. I'm told that he's got some information.